Thanks. I'm an old dog, unfortunately, so I probably should have put this up on PowerPoint, but instead let me read the beginning of Federalist Number 1, written by Hamilton. After an unequivocal experience of the inefficacy of the subsisting federal government, you are called upon to deliberate on a new Constitution for the United States of America. The subject speaks its own importance, comprehending in its consequences nothing less than the existence of the Union, the safety and welfare of the parts of which it is composed, the fate of an empire in many respects, the most interesting in the world. It has frequently been remarked that it seems to have been reserved to the people of this country by their conduct and example to decide the important question whether societies of men are really capable or not of establishing good government from reflection and choice, or whether they are forever destined to depend for their political constitutions on accident and force. Why do I begin with this, and why do I think it is really so important for our own time? Forget about it in 1787. First of all, Hamilton begins by referring to the inefficacy. In Federalist Number 15, he refers to the imbecility of the government established under the Articles of Confederation. And it does seem to me that any movement for needed change in this country has to use the same sort of strong language that the current American political system created by the Constitution of 1787 and left remarkably unchanged since 1787 is at the very least inefficacious and at worst imbecilic. I have written 2 books laying out the argument. I'm not going to spend the rest of my 3 minutes detailing the various inefficacies and imbecilities. I suspect that everyone here has already thought about that. But then I want to turn to the second part of Hamilton's comment, and why in some ways it's even more important. Because what I discover in responses to these 2 books, both of which try to delineate the inefficacies or imbecilities, both of which call for a new constitutional convention, is that most of my friends and family do not disagree, and colleagues for that matter, do not disagree with the diagnosis that there are inefficacies and imbecilities in the American national political system. Rather, they are terrified by the ostensible cure, which is a new constitutional convention. And why is that the case? Because, in fact, most people today, certainly in the left, which I know best, do no longer have faith that the people can, in fact, engage in reflection and choice about their government. One of you earlier used the word trapped. People feel trapped, political scientists call it path dependence, feel trapped in a system of 1787, not because they think it's terrific, though there are some who do, and there are some who simply avoid recognizing the extent to which that system helps to explain our winters, springs, summers, and falls of our discontent. But even those who recognize the link believe that nothing effectively can be done, because if it requires the kind of appeal to the public that Hamilton is articulating, the fact is, one need not believe that Hamilton was entirely sincere. It was Hamilton, after all, who believed that the people were a beast and that, generally speaking, popular judgment will get it wrong. But what is really important is that in the very first Federalist, he felt called upon to speak to the possibility that the American people, or at least that small part of the American people in 1787 that could in fact participate in politics, could in fact engage in genuine reflection and choice. Unless we ourselves believe that is a genuine possibility, and as I say, my own very unscientific sample is that most people do not believe it is a real possibility. There are all sorts of analyses ranging from economic analyses of rational ignorance, the sheer stupidity of the mob, all of you, again, can spell out all of the reasons why this won't work. But unless, in fact, we do believe it might work, then I really do fear that we'll go further over the cliff.